Greetings, my friends, my family, my loved ones, my fellow martial artists, my fellow artists, my fellow actors, my fellow boaters, my fellow human beings. It's great to be here. Sorry I missed a couple of weeks. I've been painting a lot. I've got some commissions. I unfortunately can't show you the commissions because two of the people that I'm doing them for are very high-end people, and I can't even talk about them or show them to anybody or mention their names. So anyway, which is great. Commissions are good. They're a lot of work. But and I got two well, it's actually one email about two people that have seen my my video for the first time, Benjamin and his grandmother, and it's about bullying. You're a black belt martial artist, Mr. Lawrence. You know, do you kick bullies' butts? No. The most proficient martial artist defeats an opponent's strategy before violence occurs. I'll get into bullies later on. But most of your bullies, they have a low self-esteem, both adults and children. In school, they're unhappy, and usually the people that hang around with them are just, they have no self-esteem, and they're low, so they've got to hang around with a bully to make themselves feel good. And most of them, well, a lot of them when I went to high school, I see them hanging on the side of the road. They're deadbeats now. Not all of them. A couple of them became cops, and they became bad cops. So there's some really good cops. I was in law enforcement for a long time, and there's some bad ones. There's good and bad everywhere. As far as older people, you'll find they don't have a life, they don't have a lot of friends, so they get in a clique, and they've got to talk down to everybody because they're so miserable with their own life, they've got to trash everybody else's life. I know some, I've been to some, well, I won't get into the details. We'll talk about that another time. We're going to talk about art today. So here's some of the work that I've been working on for months now, and they're finished, and one Kibo is protecting for me. Get up, bud. We've got 35 knot winds today. The boat's rocking. I try not to paint any straight lines when I'm doing this. This is a painting I'm working on, and I'll show you when it's done. Come on, bud. He's also the guy that watches the door, so if anybody comes by, he'll start barking. Like right now, Alan's walking by our neighbor, and he'll probably bark at him because he says hello every morning and gets to bring his dog sometimes. So this is an abstract that I did. This is in my, this is a 20 by 24. This is in my Spanish moss series. I have painted Spanish moss, as you'll see, in many different aspects. It's very prevalent down here, and there's a folk story, a few of them about it, and that's what I'm painting over here. That'll be a big surprise. When I get to Rhode Island, which should be in June, I'm gonna be looking for some venues to do some private shows. I got a box right here. I've got 10 pieces nobody's ever seen before that I'm gonna have framed by my friend Jim, and they're going to go in a private show, which I will promote and invite you all to. If you want to get on the invite list to my my shows, just put your email in the below and subscribe. I've got a little over 70 subscribers, and you're all really super wonderful. And I get to know all my subscribers. I'm not just trying to get millions. I try to touch base with you all, and always feel free to send me an email. New stuff on my site, LawrenceOlearyJR.com, LawrenceOlearyJR.com. And all of these are not on my site yet, so you'll be getting to see them. And this here is a little bit of a multimedia. I'll tell you the story about it another time. But this is pretty detailed and intricate. And it's another one of my Spanish moss series. And another Spanish moss series. A little bit like Pollock. And that's what I thought of when I painted this one. All of these have a great amount of detail in them, and color work and compositional thought, and I will be these are all going to be framed hopefully this week. This is another one, another in my Spanish moss series, and I don't usually show all my work like this, but all of you who have subscribed will now get to see these before they go on to the website, LawrenceOlearyJR.com. This one I kind of like a lot. I got a lot of, what I did is I studied, I really studied the anatomy and the leaves and the folklore and the shapes and the designs and what they look like when they're dead and what they look like when they're alive and how they look like when they're wet and when they're dry. And there's a lot of colors, from greens to violets to like a blue-gray. And these are a result of my intense study of Spanish moss. And this is one of my pretty intense ones here. This is another, those were 16 by 20. This is another. This is a 22 by 28, and this is one of my abstract Spanish moss series abstracts. Now on my site you can go and see, I've got some collectors of mine that they really only want abstracts, that's what they collect, and I've got some that want the representational and figurative. So here we go with representational. This is a pond local. I spent 3 months on this one. This is 19 by, no, this is, I forgot what this is. This is, I don't know, it's probably 20 by 24. This is a pond with a little walk bridge over here in Georgia. And oh, the wind's coming. It's hurricane season here now. Well, it will be starting next week. No, May, starting in June. All right, so this is one of my representationals, and that's on a gallery wrap. A gallery wrap, when you're walking up to a real true gallery wrap, I don't put a frame on this, you'll see the side and how the side actually turns into the image, so you can see it from all sides and you can walk into it. It's kind of cool. I like to do gallery wraps. It saves me money on framing, but on a boat you don't have a lot of storage. This is Del Gal Marina. I was here, this is the canoe and kayak dock. I was here for a while. It was a very expensive place to be at, but that's Del Gal Marina. Anyway, now you get to see there's about 7 more in the makings. I have to move everything from here up to the storage because I'm getting closed in again. Boat studio is beautiful, it's peaceful, but it's really hard to work on, especially like the waves aren't bad today. They get pretty high in here and we're rocking and rolling, but they expect that this afternoon. Yeah, please subscribe to my site, share it with your friends. If you got any questions or comments, I don't care. I mean, I was surprised that young Benjamin asked me about bullying. Yeah, you don't beat up your bullies. Unless you're attacked, then there's a little, you hit them in the nose as hard as you can if you're in school, and you're probably going to get in trouble, but you got to, if your life is threatened, that's what you've got to do. But once again, you'll find most bullies, adult and children, they don't have a life. They don't have friends. Sometimes they're abused at home by their family or their spouse. And I know a particular place that I was at in a marina, and there's just a couple of guys that start drinking beer at 9 o'clock in the morning. They got to trash everybody's personality that go in. They don't really have a lot of friends. The only friends they have are other friends that want to drink beer at 8 o'clock in the morning, and they got to sit there and judge everybody. But any one of them all alone has no power because they feed off each other. And that's kind of what bullies do. Nursing homes, your grandma in a nursing home, you have cliques everywhere. And sometimes you have to conform, they want you to conform to their way of thinking and their life. the important thing is not to engage if you can help it, and understand that they're just jealous people that really don't have a life. Grandma gets a lot of visits from people, and those other people are angry and they don't have any visits. And so it's kind of like in high school, and you take the captain of the football team, and you got a handful of people that got to trash him and talk bad about him because they'll never be the captain of the football team. But remember, as you think, so your world is created. And that's a fact. That is a fact. If you think you're going to be successful, you will. If you think you're going to be sick, you will. I can't tell you how many times when I was working in corporate America, somebody's come in, I got a little bit of a sore throat, I'm going to have the flu, and I'm going to have the flu in a few days. Sure enough, they had the flu. We convince ourselves things. And, I'm glad I'm over my germaphobe. I'm no longer a germaphobe because I got the COVID and I beat it. And according to the doctor I had in University Urology in Rhode Island, he said I would die, so I didn't. Anyway, and Kibo, come on, say bye. Come on, give me a big hug. You afraid of the thunder monster? We had thunder yesterday, and when the thunder monster comes, he just wants a big hug. Yeah, he's such a good boy. Anyway, my friends, my family, my loved ones, my fellow actors, my fellow martial artists, my fellow veterans, my fellow musicians, we're going to play a little. I try to play Sunday afternoons. I usually paint from Monday to Saturday. Anyway, stay tuned. We got some really cool stuff coming up in the future. I'm going to be doing, probably next Friday, there's going to be an open at the another art gallery, and I'm going to do a walkthrough, and you're going to get to meet some people. And anyway, love you all. Remember, let everyone that you love know that you love them. It may be the last thing that you say, and that's a wonderful thing to say.